Hello everyone, Bromo18 here, and if you are a returning viewer to the channel, then welcome back. If you're a newcomer, then welcome to the channel where we cover all things FIFA so far. If you're subscribed to the channel, then I do apologise for the short time I've had away from uploading videos, but I'm now ready to resume service, and that begins with the first of two parts of this FIFA 19 Pro Clubs wish list. Remember to leave any suggestions if you feel there's any features that I may have missed out over the two parts of the series. I've had a lot of different feedback from all you guys really on my past wish list videos, etc., and it's all been really good. A lot of stuff that I forgot to include that you know, people have suggested to me, so it's really interesting to hear that sort of feedback. So keep it coming if you feel there's anything that should be introduced into FIFA 19. Now, without further ado, let's begin. So if you've watched any of my past wish lists, then you'll know that we go through this on a basis of different topics and different elements under each topic as we go through. And there are three different topics that we're going to be covering in this wish list series. The first of them being changes to the game mode as a whole, the overall game mode, and we're going to look into that in this episode today. So we'll see how I go with that one. The second topic will be changes to your Pro. And different features that can be added and altered as well. And third and finally, we have club customization as well. So we will delve into that later on in the wish list. But first of all, in this episode, we are going to be covering changes to the game mode as a whole. Now, the first thing I'd like to address in this topic is something that's very controversial indeed, and it first came to my attention when I was watching another video on YouTube, and I will leave the link in the description to that if you want to see it. And it was by a YouTuber called World of JCC. Now, in that, he suggests that microtransactions should be added into the game mode anyway, in Pro Clubs, and the reason being is that, you know, EA Sports clearly have a tendency to put more focus on a game mode that is going to give them added value because of the fact that it's bringing in so much income from in-app purchases, and that would be, you know, Ultimate Team, the prime example there. And as a result, the likes of Pro Clubs and other game modes such as Career Mode will get pushed out onto the sidelines. And in that, he suggests that as a result they should bring in microtransactions. Yes, people don't want to see it, but if we want more effort to be put into Pro Clubs and added features, then we have to see microtransactions. Now, I firmly disagree with this. I don't want microtransactions in any capacity to be introduced into the likes of Pro Clubs or any of the other game modes that don't contain them. And people may suggest, and it's something that I've been seeing recently, that, you know, well, what about if it's just cosmetic in-app purchases, such as buying skins of real-life players to put on your Pro? And whilst I would warm to that idea slightly more because it doesn't give you an edge on anyone else, I still believe that these should not be added in any capacity. At the end of the day, you know, you spend minimum £60 on this game, up to £100 depending on the version that you're going to purchase. For that sort of money, that is an extortionate amount of money, and for that sort of price, I expect it to be a fully fledged game, complete with all its game modes and all features. I expect them to be putting effort into all the game modes that are on this game. Despite the fact that there is no in-app purchase, at the end of the day, they're selling a minimum of 10 million copies per year on FIFA. At least FIFA 18 has done that worldwide. If you cannot make a profit when you're selling that amount of games for a minimum of £60 per copy, you are doing seriously wrong. And I expect with those sort of resources available to you, you should be bang on the money in terms of adding more features and improving these game modes year in, year out. So as a result, I want no microtransactions added there. Now, moving on from that passionate rant that we have there, I'd like to see, first of all, changes made to the AI, just general improvements really. And I think this comes as a whole on FIFA, not just on Pro Clubs, but Pro Clubs, it is in particular, you know, very noticeable. I know a lot of people have had complaints about how, you know, poor the performances are from the AI in general, and you know, various instances I can think of, one of which has been when, say, if you're just unbalanced in terms of the mentality your team has, your defenders will push up to the halfway line, which is fair. You know, you want to keep control of the ball. As a result, I expect my goalkeeper to have pushed out minimum onto the D of the edge of the box, the 18-yard box, but instead he'll be camped right on almost his line, which is really, really strange. It's so irritating, because if the opposition have sent a ball over the top and it goes over the top of your defence, obviously, which is likely considering they're playing a high line, I expect my keeper to come out and claim that, and then we go again. But it's so much harder for that to happen, because you can be holding down wide for ages, and because he's starting at a much deeper position, he doesn't come out fast enough, doesn't reach the ball. Another instance is simply where perhaps your defender and the opposition attacker are coming through, they're trying to muscle each other off the ball, and they'll just get shrugged off very, very easily, despite the fact that, you know, they're up against maybe a 5'5" striker with limited amounts of strength, and the defender maybe 6'3", 6'4", etc. He's much stockier, he's bigger, his strength is clearly better, but they still get shrugged off. So little things like that, and there are various different examples. You know, I'm not going to go through them all. We just want to see more improvements to that, to make the game mode much more enjoyable, and to put less emphasis on you as a pro having to drop back all the time. Because what I've noticed is now is that you essentially need 3 players minimum to have real success. And I know there will be examples of people, you know, with just 2 players, 2 pros doing well, but on the whole, I feel that you have to have 3, because you'll have maybe a centre attacking mid or a winger, you have the forward, but then you also have to have someone dropped back in holding mid or maybe centre back in order to reinforce that position. And that's frustrating for people who, you know, if you just want to play with one other person, you just have those 2 people available to you at the time, you just want to go into that. So yeah, if we can just see improvements to the AI on a whole, that would be really, really good. Next up on the list would be for cup competitions to be open 24/7, purely because I just think it gives you another option, really. You know, perhaps if you've stagnated in your league, which tends to happen if you're higher up in the divisions, maybe 3, 2, 1, etc. You're just finishing mid-table constantly. You want to switch it up a bit. You want a chance at a trophy. You can just go for the cup competitions, and it's frustrating if you have to wait days or maybe even weeks for a cup competition to open. So, yeah, if we can just have them open 24/7, really, that would be, you know, that would be really good, and just give us more chance to get trophies more often. After that, my next suggestion is something that's going to be slightly harder in terms of logistics, but I'd like to see it at least attempted, and that is sort of an international competition for the likes of Division 1 winners and the top tier cup winners as well. As you'll all know, when you're creating your club, you can select a region that you're in, basically, i.e., you know, different parts of Europe and Africa, etc., etc. So I'd like to see something, it's sort of like a Champions League / World Cup, Club World Championship situation, where, you know, the Division 1 winners and the top tier cup winners in each different sections can play each other in perhaps a tournament format, and it just gives us something next to strive for after you know, you've won the Division 1 or the top cup. So again, that would be slightly harder, because obviously, you know, you have, how would you work it out in terms of the timings, etc. But I'd at least like to see it attempted in some way, so that we can just add something extra for those people that are right at the top and have something else to strive for. 5th on the wish list is to have the ability to create notices and news items that will alert everyone in the club. Now they sort of have this, they have like a message board, which is essentially the start of that, but it doesn't actually alert anyone, you know, so you might have different notices. It might not even be anything important, you know, you can just go on there for, you know, create jokes and etc., and just anything really. It's just a minor touch. It doesn't mean a lot, but I'd just like to see it added. You know, it's helpful for people also that if they want to have certain times, etc., to come on, or they want to give everyone important piece of news relating to the club, that would be good to see that added as well, so that we can just add another element of communication, really. So next up is quite a key one, and that would be to add substitutions to the game. And one example I can think of where this is quite vital is if perhaps someone is late to the game, etc. You've already started the game. What they can do is just be subbed in for an AI player at any point in the game, so that they won't miss out. They won't have to wait until the next game. And I think this really is something that should already be in the game mode. It's really strange that it isn't already, but nevertheless, if we can get it in, that would be really, really helpful and great for everyone, so that we can give our teams reinforcements and people don't have to wait around for what could be a 15-minute spell, just twiddling their thumbs, etc. So yeah, if we can get that in, that would be great. And next, something that I'd really want to see added is an arena element where you and your teammates can go in and practice, maybe just doss around, etc. Work on different things like combos or set pieces, etc. Anything like that, really, just to give us something else to do. Maybe work a bit of practice, a new tactic or formation. You can add AI in there as well if you want to work on something that's really, really pivotal rather than just mess around. Really good to see this added. Essentially, they've already got this feature with the practice arena that we've had for years now in FIFA, and if we can see that added to pro clubs, and it can be online in terms of having multiple people in here at once, that would be really, really good indeed. So that would just about round off part 1 of this wish list, guys. If you've made it through to the end, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to give me any suggestions. Remember that some may have been saved for part 2, where we are going to cover your My Pro and also club customization. So be sure to go and tune in for that. If you're watching this on week of recording, then I still have other stuff going on my channel. Be sure to check those out. The England career mode save is still going on, and we've got a next episode to upload of that later this week. So be sure to check that out as well. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed it and want to see more. So on that note, guys, I have been Bromo18, and I will see you all very, very soon.